Welcome to my channel. My name is Anita and I am designer and maker behind yarns. In today's video, I'll be showing you how to make Sunburst granny square. And even though I use mostly US stitch terminology, I'll mention UK equivalents as well. So for today's project, we'll be using 5 different types of stitches. Double crochet, which is treble crochet in UK terms, puff stitch, cluster stitch, half double crochet UK half treble crochet, and treble crochet, which is UK double treble. So let's start. The first thing you want to do is make a slip knot, and then we are going to chain 4. You'll probably find many tutorials that say to chain 5, but I find that leaves me with a hole too wide in the middle. You could chain 3 as well to make it even tighter, but then again I find that to be too tight, so chaining 4 is what works for me the best. And then we'll go back into that first stitch we did and slip stitch. Just like that. And now we'll have this little loop we made out of our chain, and we'll crochet into that loop. So the first stitch we'll do is double crochet. And you can always chain 3 to start, but I'll show you this little trick where we'll start by doing something that it's called foundation double crochet. And to do a foundation double crochet, we'll go into that loop. So go through the middle of our chain, grab our yarn and pull through. Now we'll have here 2 loops on our hook. Yarn over and pull through both loops. Then go back through that first loop, yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through both loops. And this will be our first stitch. And to start a Sunburst granny square, we have to have 16 stitches total for our first row. And since we count our foundation chain as the first stitch, we have to do 14 double crochets. And I know what you think, do your maths better. But we'll be connecting our row in a way that will leave us with an extra stitch. So that'll come up to 16 stitches total. So we'll yarn over, go through the middle of our chain, yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. And this is our second stitch. So we'll go ahead and do 14 double crochets into our loop, and with that foundation chain, I'll have 15 stitches total. So this is my last stitch for this round. And you can always pull on that tail if your center is starting to stretch. And it'll close right up. Okay, now that we have all of our 15 stitches, we'll connect our first round. And first we'll cut our yarn just like that and pull out your tail like so. Then with your hook go into that first stitch we did, so this one right here, grab our tail and pull it through. Now go under our last stitch and through the middle and get our tail and pull through again. And now we have this stitch that looks like just the rest of our stitches. Now we just need to hide this tail, and I like to pull it through to the back first. And then to have it look like a double crochet even from the side, you'll go into this loop right here and get that tail through. And then in the end, I'll just pull it to the top so I can crochet over it later, just like that. And now, when you count your stitches all around, we'll have 16 total. which is kind of the magic number for Sunburst granny square. So let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. And that's very important that we end up having 16 stitches all around. If you have less, you might have missed that very first stitch, but you can always use a stitch marker to mark it. Also, if this connection we did is a bit too complicated for you, you can always do 15 double crochets and then connect to the slip stitch. Now we'll do the next round and we'll change the color. And I want to use this white one for a nice contrast. So you can go into any of the stitches from the first round, but I like to go into the one just before the connection so that I can hide my tail as I go. So we go through both loops and grab the yarn and pull through. Now the next stitch we'll be doing is called a puff stitch. So first we want to pull on that yarn to make it nice and tall, and it will be the height of maybe 2 chains, just like that. Now we'll yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over again and pull through. And we want to pull this stitch out more as well, to the height of the first loop we did. Now we'll have 3 loops on our hook, and we have to have 7 loops total. So this is 5. We'll go in one more time. Again, pull each loop up. Once we have 7 loops on our hook, we'll yarn over and pull through all 7 loops. Yarn over and chain to secure. Now we'll move on to the next stitch and we'll do this all over again. So yarn over, go into the stitch, grab the yarn and pull through. Pull up the stitch tall. So we have 5 loops on the hook. Once again, go in, grab the yarn and pull through. Now we have 7 loops. Yarn over and pull through all loops on our hook. Chain 1 to secure, and then we'll go into the next stitch. Make sure you're working into every single stitch. You should have 16 puff stitches around. And since one of the stitches can easily hide, make sure that you count your stitches as well. And as you can see, I'm crocheting over my tails as well. So go into that next stitch. Don't forget to pull your stitches to the same height every time. It helps when you yarn over if you hold onto your yarn when you go in, so you kind of keep it in a place. Because if you keep on pulling your working yarn, you'll have a hard time keeping the stitches at the same height. So when you yarn over, hold here and go into the stitch. Then bring your yarn back again, and now we have 7 loops. Yarn over and pull through. And then chain 1. Then we'll go into the next stitch and we'll be yarning over and going into the same stitch 3 times. And then yarn over and pull through all 7 loops on your hook. Then chain 1 to finish our stitch. So this is what we'll be doing all around, and as I mentioned before, you have 16 puff stitches all around. We are working 3 times into each stitch until we have 7 loops on our hook. So go ahead, finish this round, pause the video and meet me back once you're done. Okay, here I have all of my 16 puff stitches finished, and this is how it should look like. Now to finish, we'll chain 1 to secure and then cut the yarn and pull it out. And now we'll be doing the same thing we did at our first connection. So we'll go into that first stitch, bring our tail through, then go under the last stitch and through the middle, and then get that tail through again. Now we'll bring the tail to the back of our work, just like so, and then pull it out on the top so we can crochet over it. So this is what your work should look like after you have 2 rounds finished. Now we'll do our third round, where we'll be doing cluster stitches. So on this round we have to work through each one of these gaps right here. So we'll be putting our cluster stitches between our puff stitches. So I'll get my new color and then go into any one of these gaps in between our puff stitches, take our new color yarn and pull through. So for this round we'll be doing cluster stitches. And if you've never done a cluster stitch before, one way to explain it would be that we are doing a stitch that resembles an unfinished double crochet. And it will make more sense in a minute. So to start this stitch, you can always chain 3. But what I like to do is I would get my tail and wrap it around my hook just like so. And then I'll yarn over and pull through. And now we have this little stitch right here, which will count as our first stitch. And now to do a cluster stitch, we are going to yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over and pull through. Yarn over and pull through both loops, and we'll leave it at that. And now we have to do this 2 more times into the same stitch. And now I have 3 stitches, and we'll do this 1 more time. And now that I have 4 stitches and 4 loops on my hook, I'm going to yarn over and pull through all the loops. And you can see how nice that first stitch looks like here. Now we'll chain 1 to secure, and then chain 1 more. Now we'll do our second cluster stitch. So yarn over, go into that gap, bring your yarn through, yarn over and pull through 2. Let's do this 3 more times into the same stitch. So now we'll be doing 4 stitches together, and you'll have 5 loops on your hook. Then yarn over and pull through all loops. On the first stitch we had 4 loops on the hook before finishing, but that's only because we counted that stitch we started with as our first stitch. But for all of our other stitches around, we'll be having 5 loops on our hook. So we chain 1 to secure, and we'll chain 1 more to start the next stitch. Now we're going into the next stitch and work into it 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yarn over and pull through all 5 loops, and then chain 2. Now we're going into the next gap, yarn over, and we'll work into it 4 times. So for this round we'll be doing 16 stitches total as well. So by the time we finish the whole row, you should have 16 cluster stitches. Again, we are working into the same loop 4 times until we have 5 loops on our hook. Then we'll yarn over and pull through all the loops and chain 2. Now you can go ahead and finish this round, pause the video and meet me back once you're done. Okay, here I have all of the 16 stitches finished. I've chained 1 only, and I'll cut my yarn and pull it out. And again, we'll do that nice little connection and create a fake stitch. So go into that first stitch, pull the tail through, then under, and go to the middle of our last stitch and pull the tail through again. And then when you look from the top, it'll look like any other stitch we did. And now we'll just hide that tail in just like so. And then pull it on the top so we can crochet over it. And that's our third round finished. Now we'll get our next color and we'll do our last round. And here is where we turn this circle into a square. So usually what I've seen people doing for granny squares is starting from the corner, but that always leaves me with that weird connection right there. And it's quite noticeable since it's right on the corner. So what I like to do is actually start my granny square from the middle. So if you would start from the corner of the granny square, you would first do a chain of 4 and then do a treble crochet. But I found this way to have a much cleaner look. So I would actually start from my lower stitch, which is half double crochet. So I'll get my yarn through one of these gaps. And for this round, we have to work into each one of these gaps here, in between our cluster stitches. So now we'll get our tail and wrap it around our hook, just as we did before. Then yarn over and pull through these 2 loops. And we'll count this as our first stitch. Now yarn over, go into that same stitch and do 1 half double crochet. So for this last round, since we need to make this circle look like a square, we'll do 3 different stitches that have different heights. So we'll start from the lowest, which is half double crochet, then we do double crochet, and then we do treble crochet. And remember, these are all US terms. And then for each gap we do 3 stitches. So here we did 2, and we'll move on to the next stitch, but we'll come back and I'll put my 3rd stitch here, which will be our last stitch of the round as well. So we did here 1 half double crochet. This stitch we'll call our foundation chain, which we count as 1 stitch as well. And now we'll go into the next gap and do 3 double crochets. So this is 1, so we are working into this gap right here. This is 2 and 3. Moving on to the next gap, we'll be doing 3 treble crochets. So yarn over once and twice and go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull through 2, pull through 2 and pull through 2. Let's do 2 more. And you can see how we are getting a straight line here, and that's because we are placing our stitches in this particular order. Now we have to start our second side, and to turn we have to chain. And usually you would see people chaining 3 to make this corner, but I actually like to chain 2 because it leaves me with a much smaller gap here in the corner. Now once we chained 2, we'll do another 3 treble crochets in the same stitch. And you can already see our first corner forming right here. So we did 3 treble crochets on this side, chain 2, and did 3 treble crochets for this side. So now we'll go on to the next gap. And as you can see, I've been carrying my tails with me as I went. And I'll leave them now and continue with my next stitch, which will be a double crochet again. We are doing 3 double crochets in the same gap. Now moving on to the next gap, we'll be doing 3 half double crochets together. And now again we are raising our stitches to form another corner, and we'll be doing 3 double crochets next. Now after double crochets, we'll be doing treble crochets. So 3 treble crochets in the same stitch. And now again we are chaining 2 for the corner and doing 3 more treble crochets in the same stitch for the next side of the square. So again, for each corner we are doing 6 treble crochets in the same gap with chain 2 in the middle. And then after treble crochet we are doing double crochet, again 3 stitches together. And after double crochet we are doing half double crochet, 3 stitches together. And then we are going back to the double crochet, and that is the pattern you have to do all around. So each side should have 3 treble crochets, 3 double crochets, 3 half double crochets, then 3 double crochets again, and 3 treble crochets to finish one side. Then we chain 2 and do 3 more treble crochets into the same stitch. Now let's finish this side as well. So again, 3 double crochets, then 3 half double crochets. Now back to the double crochet, 3 together. And this is our last corner, so 3 treble crochets, chain 2, then 3 more treble crochets into the same stitch. And now we are going to finish the other half of this side. So we'll do 3 double crochets into the next stitch, and as I said in the beginning, we did those 2 stitches here, and now we have to do 1 more half double crochet into this stitch to finish off our Sunburst granny square. And now I'll cut my yarn and pull out the tail. And again, let's do our fake stitch. So pull the yarn through that first stitch, go into the last stitch and pull through again. And now we just hide the tail in the back, just like so. And this is our Sunburst granny square finished. I know that there are a few not very traditional steps I did along the way, but I just find that it gives a much cleaner finish to our granny square. And you can see here by chaining 2 how much smaller gaps we are getting in the corners. You can always chain 3 if that's the look you are going for, but I just don't really like those big gaps, so I found that chaining 2 was a perfect solution, and it never affected my finished projects. So when I connect them together, I have the same amount of stitches on each side. When it comes to the projects that you can do with granny squares, the possibilities are endless, and next week I'll be uploading a tutorial for a cute little bag using this granny square. So make sure you subscribe and click on that bell button to get notified about my new tutorials. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.